The blind man at the threshold. No one knew exactly when Elias had moved into the old building on Godoy Street. It was as if, from one day to the next, his presence had seeped into the place. Silent, like mold creeping through the cracks. He was a quiet man, the kind who made no sound coming or going, whose name only surfaced when something strange needed explaining. The story that turned him into a legend began on a stormy night, several winters ago, when the elevator broke down and the power flickered like a candle gasping for air. Elias lived on the 6th floor. That night, as on many others, he sat working at his desk under the soft light of a desk lamp. Rain struck the windows violently, and the wind howled like a beast prowling outside. At exactly 11 p.m., the doorbell rang. Surprised, he got up. No one usually visited at that hour. He opened the door. The hallway was empty. No footsteps, no voices, not even a closing door, just the rain. Slowly, he closed the door again. Something was off. The silence felt too thick. He returned to his desk, but couldn't concentrate. A crawling unease settled in his chest, like unseen eyes watching from a dark corner. That night, he slept poorly. He woke at 3:17 a.m., gripped by a sticky premonition. He opened his eyes and saw nothing. Not the ceiling, not the lamp, not even a faint city glow through the curtains. He thought the power had gone out. Then he realized something far worse. It wasn't the room that was dark. It was his eyes. Elias had gone blind. Doctors claimed it was a sudden neurological condition, maybe a minor stroke. But tests were inconclusive. No medical explanation could account for why a healthy 39-year-old man had lost his sight overnight. Elias didn't complain. He returned to the building and built a quiet routine. He learned to move with a cane, counting exact steps from his door to the elevator, from the elevator to the mailbox, from the mailbox to the bench by the lobby window. But in his blindness, something else awakened. He began hearing things, not ordinary sounds, but whispers in the walls, bare footsteps on the stairwell. When the building was empty, he felt unnatural air currents in sealed rooms. On moonless nights, he sensed presences hovering at the edge of awareness. Neighbors noticed changes. Sometimes, they'd see him standing in his doorway, motionless, head tilted as if listening to something beyond the wall. They said he whispered names. Others claimed they heard him laughing. Alone, some began avoiding the 6th floor entirely. One night, a neighbor from the 5th floor, Clara, was climbing the stairs with groceries when she saw Elias's door slightly ajar. Uneasy, she kept walking but turned her head. He was standing there, barely visible in the dim corridor, his pale eyes staring directly at her. Without a word, he raised a finger to his lips. Clara never took the stairs again. Over time, the building emptied. Stories grew like invisible roots. A girl vanished in the elevator. An old man died a heart attack after seeing a faceless figure outside his 7th floor window. In all the tales, Elias appeared, always at the end, always in the doorway. New tenants avoided looking at his door. It was always slightly open, though no one ever saw him come or go. Whispers gave him a name, the blind man at the threshold. Some said he was a medium. Others claimed he made a pact. And a few, the oldest ones, murmured that Elias wasn't human anymore. One early morning, a curious young man named Matthias set up a recorder on the 6th floor, intent on debunking the legends. He sat in the hallway with a flashlight and waited. Everything was quiet. At 3:17 a.m., the light flickered. Then silence. A floorboard creaked. Matthias turned slowly. In the doorway of apartment 6B, Elias stood still. His white, sightless eyes seemed to look straight through him. He smiled. "You shouldn't look," he said, his voice older than his body. Matthias tried to speak, but no sound came. A chill climbed his spine. Elias stepped back into the darkness of his apartment. The door closed gently behind him. Matthias fled. He never published the recording. Since then, he refuses to enter old buildings. He says there are places where the walls keep secrets. Secrets only the blind can hear. Elias is still there. He does not age. He does not speak. He only waits at his threshold. And they say if you pass his door at exactly the wrong time, you'll feel something watching from within something that needs no eyes, because there are darknesses deeper than blindness, and some things can only be seen once you stop looking.